So after playing 2 YCSs with Photon and Hypernova, I think I have a good idea on how to feel about this format now. First of all, I'm actually not complaining about Tier Elements getting hit, despite me being a Tier Elements player. I think it was actually time for that deck to go away because it was around for a little too long. And the nerf to spread was also very reasonable because the deck would have been unstoppable if it didn't get hit. And it's actually really funny because their best card got banned and the deck still managed to win YCS Peru. So I'm actually really not complaining about any of the hits that we got. I'm really only kind of sad about what we didn't get. I think both Kashtira Fenrir and Unicorn should have preemptively gone limited in order to prevent Kashtira from dominating the field. People like to say that Kashtira isn't even that good of a deck anyways, but I actually think this is only true on the premise of 2 conditions. The first one is considering the fact that they're going second and they're losing to a specific card designed to beat them like Book of Moon. And the second is that they're so popular and respected that everybody anticipates them and they're deck building in the main deck to beat them. On both of these conditions, the recurrent theme is deck building, which further proves my point. Kashtira is inherently such a good deck that you can't really rely on beating it without specific cards. It is the kind of deck that can single-handedly ruin a format on its own because it's not that great of an option to play yourself, but it's still a really annoying threat. It is somewhat of a funny paradox because it is both good and bad at the same time. I like to say that it's bad when you play it, but then when your opponent plays it, it's really good. In other words, Murphy's Law. But yeah, I mean, having to denaturalize your deck and having to incorporate kind of bad cards to beat the most played deck is really annoying, and it's just another concession that you have to make. And these kinds of concessions can get rewarded or punished depending on what kind of event you're playing. If you end up deck building to beat a lot of Kashtira and you play against a lot of Kashtira, then congratulations, your concession paid off. But at the same time, if you deck build to beat Kashtira and you end up playing against a bunch of Despia and Labyrinth, you're screwed. Have fun drawing 3 Book of Eclipse and Nibiru against Labyrinth. And yeah, speaking of which, Labyrinth is actually a really interesting deck. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a cancerous deck, although it's a really strong deck because it can abuse cards like Eradicate or Virus. And when I say abuse, I mean it's a one-of that can be searched and be used right away. But at the same time, it can also lose to Duster, Jinzo, and other cards, so in a way it kinda has some flaws. But yeah, Despia is no slouch either. That deck is really annoying this format. Because of the fact that they can give you the Gimmick Puppet Nightmare to prevent you from special summoning, you might actually auto-lose a bunch of games going second when you don't draw Ash. That makes the format really RNG because when you deck build, you have to consider billions of possibilities, and some of the outs to a bunch of decks do not overlap with each other. Ash is a card with pretty decent overlap because you can use it against both Labyrinth and Despia and also Kashtira to a certain extent, but cards like Book of Eclipse and Nibiru might be good against Kashtira but not really good against Labyrinth or Despia. So you gotta choose whether you want to play the high impact cards that can definitely help you win the game against a certain deck but might lose to another deck, or if you want to play some just random garbage average cards that are just mediocre against everyone. Because I can guarantee you that if you're not playing at least some broken cards to try to beat a specific deck, you will not go anywhere in this format. And this is my issue. You have to pick your poison, choose what kind of deck you want to lose against, and try to beat the other decks. You cannot beat them all. You always have to have some form of strength and weakness. And the proof is that this format, there's no deck that everybody unanimously agrees on the fact that it's the best deck. Everybody's kind of just torn apart. But yeah, I just feel like technical play really doesn't matter this much this format because it's mostly about deck building and making the right call. If your opponent makes full combo and then you just draw Book of Eclipse and you book everything and then you combo and you kill them, then there's just no shred of skill needed to do that. Like, congratulations, you drew the 1 card out to their board and you have your combo. But on the flip side, if your opponent combos and you have nothing, it doesn't matter what your hand is, you're probably gonna lose because, again, you need a specific card to beat them. So again, you would be losing that game without being able to showcase what kind of skill you have. I just hate the better have it formats where 1 card just allows you to go super far, but at the same time, 1 card allows you to demolish everything that your opponent has established. I think 1 card combos should get nerfed, and I think 1 card board breakers that are way too good should also get nerfed. Obviously, GOAT format is kind of like a format where none of this really exists, but at the same time, we can't really go back. Anyways, that's pretty much all I had to say for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know your thoughts about this format in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.